So, hi, let us first recapitulate what we did in the previous session. So, we actually performed the login and sign up functionality. We also used hashing methods to securely store the password in the MySQL database. And we also made a couple of changes to the login and register file. So, we created these two templates. And I also wanted to show connect it to a JavaScript window alert here. So I'll do that once we are done with the CRUD operations. So today in this session, I'll start with one of the complete. I'll perform the complete CRUD operation on sections. So in the models, you have the section table. So I'll show you how we can add. So we can create, read, update, and delete these sections. And for that, I'll need an admin dashboard. So I'll create that as well. So inside the templates folder, I hope you're also following the same structure. So you can create an admin dashboard .html. So this file, we will be making changes to. Okay, yeah, I'll just rename this. Yeah, we will make changes to this file and we'll create the admin functionalities here. Yeah, so inside the templates folder, I want you to add this admin dashboard. Apart from this, you also need to add two more files. So two more templates. One is to add a section and one is to edit a section. So add section .html as well as edit section .html. So these three files you need to have, and we will be making changes to these files today. So here I'll show you how we can implement the complete admin dashboard, and it will be connected to the add section and edit section page, where this would be the front end, and I would show how we can connect it to the backend in the app.py file. So now the complete objective would be to create the full CRUD cycle on one entity like sections here, and yeah, I'll so this complete structure you can also replicate whenever you create your MAD-1 project. You can use the same structure and try to create all these CRUD operations for the particular table that you're trying to work upon. So all the tables you have, it is ideal that you perform all these CRUD operations and you allow specific users to perform specific task on that table. So say you have a CRUD operation, create, read, update, and delete. So you can create role based access control where you have the admin who can take charge of creating it, reading it, updating it, and deleting it. The users would be so the sub users would be able to read and update it, and the actual users, the end users, would be able to just read that particular record. So you can have such different demarcations or different differentiations where you can allow specific users to access specific parts of the CRUD operations. Right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So in the app.py file, now let me first define the routes for this admin dashboard. So now first so underneath this wrapper, I want you to create another wrapper. So this wrapper would only allow admins to access the route. So now, so you have seen how we have this login required. So this login required wrapper will not allow users who are not authenticated. So those users would not be able to access the slash route. So similar to this wrapper, what you can also do is you can create an admin wrapper. So that admin wrapper would allow only admins to access those particular so only admins would be able to access that. And yeah, I think this I can move it over here before this. Yes. And here below this, I'll create the admin wrapper as well as the admin routes. So here you can write the function alongside me, define admin required. Okay, and this would again be the page that is passed to this function. So at the rate wraps if. Now we are wrapping this page, and how do we define that wrapper? We define the wrapper with arguments and quarks. So these two things are something that we define, and these are just to pass the same file again with the same arguments at the end if the user is identified as an admin. So what you do is here, inside of the wrapper that you are trying to define, if not session.get is admin. So session may we are trying to store if the user is an admin or not. So if the user is not an admin, what you're going to do here is, yeah, you can actually, let me, yes, you can use this. You can flash something like admins only or something similar. So admins only to that page, and you can return or redirect them to the home page. So this is something you can do. So yeah, so if at all they are, yes. So I was here. If the user is not an admin, if the session dot get is admin is false, so this would be evaluated to true, and you would flash admins only, and you would redirect them back to the home page. So now at the end of this, if this is not this condition is not satisfied, you directly return back the page and you return back the wrapper. So this is the complete admin required wrapper that you write in ahead of the admin route. So now this would make sure that the admin route that we are going to define right now is accessed only by the admins and it is not accessed by anybody else. So here you write @admin required, and now this uses the particular wrapper, and now this will not allow yes. So this will not allow anybody else to access other than the admin. So let me know if you have any kind of questions here.
No doubts.
Yes. All right. Also, another thing what you can do over here is you can also have login required to this section. So now when you add this thing here, if you just go to this development server, yes, I think I have not, okay. Yeah, let me remove these two lines. Yeah. So now let me first show this thing to you. I'm trying to go to, if you can see, I'm just trying to, visit the home page, but it is asking me to log in first. So if you use this @login required ahead of any route, like now I'm using it before /route, so it will make login required for those particular routes. So similarly, now when I create the admin route, if I write admin required, it will not allow anybody other than the admin to utilize that route. So I'll demonstrate that once we define this route. So I will, yeah, so we can define the route here. So define admin dashboard. Again, similar to what it is trying to suggest. So here you want to query all the sections because we want to have the correct current sections over so that we can display those sections to the admin and we can allow the admin to look at them and then try to change or modify or add or delete them. So you can fetch all the sections by using section.query.all, and then you can return the render template admin dashboard that we just defined, and you can pass on the sections is equals to sections. So that is something that you can do. So now we have defined the admin dashboard. You can visit the admin page by going to /admin, but I think it'll ask you admins only and you will be required to log in first. So I think you have your credentials already. Karthik and 1 2 3 4 5 6. So now, Karthik, if I try to access the admin route, it'll say admins only and it will not allow you to access. Unless I log out and try to use admin and admin 1 2 3, then if I go to the admin page here, admin, it'll allow me to, go to this page. So this is admin dashboard, which is currently blank. It has nothing. So this clearly demonstrates how you can access and how you can demarcate or differentiate the different roles that you give to different people on your application. So this is clear, right?
Yes, yes, ma'am. We can also use try catch. Like
Yes, yes. You can also
we
use try
can add
catch.
except.
Yes. Yeah, that would add exceptions. Here I'm just printing something like admins only. And you can also, have some kind of exceptions that are thrown if that is not satisfied.
Okay.
Yes, so now let us go to, okay, so now let us create the remaining routes as well. So let us create all the admin routes, and then we can go to the front end part. So I would also suggest this thing. You can first write the backend routes, and then you can, once the routes are ready, if you just start coding your front end, you'll also be able to move around, and you'll also be able to see what is happening on your front end clearly. So that would be the recommended uh, mode of coding. So now after the admin route, we would want to create I think three more routes. Yes, because currently you need not create the get route. You because get route is not required because you're directly passing the sections to the admin dashboard. So this is essentially the get function. So you have create, read, update, and delete. So this is actually reading it. So this you can use, you can uh, mention this as read sections from the database, right? So this is the read part. Read is already done. So you have to have three more routes. So app.route. Okay, so this route can be something like section slash add, and you can have two methods again, get or post. So both of the methods will be used. So now this was the read. Okay, I'll not mention it here. I'll mention it here. So this is like the read part of the sections, and now this would be the create part of the sections. All right, so here also you can use the same wrapper admin required, and then you can define add section, and this so this is the function that we are trying to define. So now again, like before, if request dot method, uh, we are trying to check what kind of request is coming to this endpoint. So I'll just pass it for now. So now otherwise, if the request is not a post method, you can return render template add section.html, which is what we are, which contains the form. So once the form is submitted, it comes to this part where this is the post request. Now here, what you can do is you can call db.session. Okay, yeah, let me write it out. Uh, yes, escape. Yeah, db.session.add section. So you are trying to add a new record in the section, and name you are taking it from the form that is present in add section HTML file. So request.form, and you have the name as a class name of a particular form field. And you have so what are you trying to add? You can go to the models file. In this you can see you have the name and description. All right, a name and description are required. The products is like a relationship, so you need not mention it when you try to create a new record. ID is auto incremented, so that need not be mentioned. So you only have the name and the description. So name and description also comes from the form. So request.form description. You have both of them. Now when you create this, you can also db.session.commit, and after that you can simply yeah, so now the row is committed. You can redirect. Okay, let us redirect them to the admin dashboard again. So now this way you can allow the admin users to create a new section record and then redirect them to the admin dashboard. Yeah, so this is it for the add section route. I think nothing else needs to be handled here. Let us create a new route again for this time let us create it for editing, so that will be interesting. So I'll also show you how you can edit a particular route, and that would editing it would require uh, a dynamic section ID. So you want to edit a particular section ID, right? So inside the DB, if you just go to the sections, currently you don't have any section, but ideally you will have some sections here, and you would want to edit a particular section with its ID. So that is something that will define a unique section. So the route would be looking something like section slash edit, and you can have int, which is the data type, and let us use ID, right? So this is the section edit endpoint, And you can have again both get and post, because you have the edit section HTML which you want to render when it is going to come as a get request. So now you again use the admin required wrapper, and now you are using the edit section. You are defining the edit section function. So one important thing here in the edit section function, because you are mentioning this as ID over here, you would also want to let me escape. Yes, you would also want this to have ID over here. So this is like an input parameter to your function. So here again, you want to check. So yeah, you want to check if the section is currently present or not. So section is equal to section dot query dot get. So you can directly use dot get. Dot get is also a valid function, but then what you can also use is dot get or 404. So this returns 404 if the particular section is not available. So now here, now you have fetched the function. I mean, you have fetched the section that is required and that is related to this ID. Now with this section, you can populate the form with the entries of the current section, and then you can allow the user to make any changes to those entries. And then when you submit, you come back to the same request. So if request.method is post, then you implement. So I'll pass it for now. You'll implement how you will make changes to that particular record. Otherwise, if it is like a get request, you can return render template edit section.html. Section is equals to section. All right, so this is clear, right? Because you are passing the section so that inside of the form that you are going to implement. So let me escape. Yeah. Inside of the form that you're going to implement here, you will need to have all the section details, the current section details. So that will be rendered whenever you try to go to a particular section ID, section/edit/ID. Right. So now let us implement how we will try to make the changes to that section. Section.name is equals to request.form name. So now name is again the class name of the form field. So you're getting the section name and section description from the form. And now you would want to make these changes. So now I think what we can do is once the section is something which is the current record. So you are directly changing the record name and record description with the ones that are given in the form. Then you would want to do db.session.commit, and after that you can redirect them back to the admin dashboard. So this is the complete route and this is the complete implementation. So yeah, if do you have any questions here?
No,
All
ma'am.
right. Yeah, so let us implement the last route. So I think this is create. Create is done. So read was already done. This is create. This is update. Now let us learn how we can create the delete route. Delete route is also similar. You just have a different. Okay, so delete route will again have a dynamic endpoint section/delete/int ID. So it will take a dynamic route, and it will not have get and post. It will just have post as the method. But yeah, you need not mention that here. You can directly have no methods mentioned, and you can directly define the delete section method, and we can directly call this function whenever we want to implement the delete button. So that this can be called. You can define the delete section function with ID as a parameter, because it is having ID over here. You want to pass it in the function again. So here you can fetch the section as before. Otherwise, instead of fetching, you can directly do dv.session.delete section.query. The section is the table that you're trying to query, and you're trying to get the particular row which is having the ID equal to this ID. So this ID you are trying to fetch the current row, and then you are trying to delete it. Then you will commit it, and then you will redirect them back to the admin dashboard. So this is the complete function where you have to delete the particular row with the particular ID. Then you'll commit it, and then you'll redirect them back to the admin dashboard. So these are the three endpoints that are required. Yeah, so these are the three endpoints I just mentioned. Delete over here. Yes. So we have all these four CRUD operations working. and we will also test them when we are now going to make changes to the HTML files. So any doubts?
If we
Yes.
delete some sections, will the entire product list will be deleted?
No. When you edit or update, when you run this route, only the particular row, the name and the description columns, the name and the description columns will be changed. Nothing else. For that particular row, it will be changed. There'll be no other change. Uh, I'll also show this when I implement the HTML forms, and then I'll show you how we can make changes to a particular row without deleting all the different rows inside.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So here in the admin dashboard, now let us first implement the basic admin dashboard. Then from there, we will also implement the add section and edit section HTML files. So here, here let us first try to extend again. I'll extend the base HTML. You can also get it from the home file. Yeah, you can extend base HTML. Then you can write the block content. Okay. Then so inside the block content, you also have the end block, right? So you can mention that before end block. So now within these two, we have to mention the complete contents. Here, let me have a div. So let me use a div tag here. So let me give it a class name of say a class name of dash head. So this is the dashboard of the head user or something like that. I'm just giving some random class names. You can use these class names and then try to have the CSS styling. So now let me use a h1 tag, say admin dashboard. After this, let me use an a tag. So now this a tag would be used to add a new section. So before using this a tag, let me so outside this div tag, let me print all the different sections. So the admin dashboard is getting all the sections over here. So we are querying all the sections, we are passing them to the admin dashboard. So here it will have access to all the sections. You can use something like for section in sections, and inside of it you can again use a div tag to represent all that, and then at the end of this you can close. So instead of closing, you can have an else block where you can say something like no sections as of now or something. So no sections yet, and then you can end the for loop. So this is the complete structure. All right, inside the div tag, I would want to represent all the sections. Let me give a class of card. So I'll represent this as a card in the CSS styling. So inside the card, I would want to have a header tag h2 and say something like section name. So section name I'll be printing, then I'll use a p tag, I'll do the section description. I'm printing both of them. For each of them, I would also want them to be able to edit or delete. So I'll have two different buttons, edit or delete button. I'll show you how we can add that. You have an a tag. Inside of that, you have a href. The href would be having a dynamic route. Okay, this is a dynamic route with a URL for. It will have URL for edit section. So edit section URL would take us to this page, but we would also want to pass it the ID. So we are passing it the ID. ID is equals to section.id. So for the current section, we are taking the ID and passing it over here. Alright, so this is the complete thing, and you want to give this link a name of edit. Similarly, you create another a tag with a href of a dynamic URL with URL for you have delete section, and you want to pass the ID equal to section.id. So these are two dynamic routes. You can have a name of delete. So yes, this is it. You would also want the admin user to add a new section. So here you can give it a new a tag. Let us give it a class name as well, say button. And then whenever we define all the buttons, we can have it styled as well. So here, let me use href. Href with a dynamic route again, URL for add section, and the name would be add section. So now here you can see I am not passing any ID because this does not require any ID to be passed. Okay, so now this is it. This is a complete admin dashboard. If you want to go to the admin dashboard, you can refresh and see. So this is the admin dashboard. You have, this is the base template that is getting rendered. This is the admin dashboard. I can add a section and it will take me to the add page, but I have not yet implemented the add section page. So now let us implement that. Inside the add section page, I would copy this thing from the previous page. I would want to have this here, and I would also want the end block thing here. Is it end block? Yes, it is end block. Yeah. So now here in the add section page, I would want to have a hashtag saying add section. Now I'll create a new form. So this was what I was mentioning before, form with a method of post, and then I would have the form closed. Yes. So now this is the form. It needs two different input types. So for each section, what are we collecting? So add section, if you just go to the app.py file, you are collecting both the name as well as the description, only these two things. So here you can have an input field, say type. Okay, type is not required, type is defaulting to text. So now we have the name equal to name. So because we are taking in name, if you can see over here, name and description. So you want to have this as name. Say placeholder, you can use something like section name, and you must keep this as required because there cannot be a section without a name, right? Right. So placeholder is section name, and then you can keep it as required. So here, after this, you can have another input field. So after this input field, the other one would have a name of description and then a placeholder of section description. And you can have this as required, but I don't think that is required here. Yeah, see, so description is not a required field over here. So you can have it as null. So you can remove this required and you can just have it as optional. So now let us also have a button of type submit, add section, or let us rename it to save. Yes, you are saving a new section, right? So I think this is it.
Now, should we need to put type as text because they can also type number
This one. Yeah, yeah, you can also, yeah. I think it'll default. Okay, I think it'll default to, yeah, but section name, some this is like a grocery store. So sometimes they might want to, name it something like grocery one. So I was thinking if they would want it to be named as grocery one. So section is grocery one, grocery two. So for those things, we can have it left empty because it is to their choice what they want to name it as. You can also, have something like type equal to text, and that would take only text. So that is again optional. So now if you just refresh, you'll be able to see this page that we just implemented. Here, if you, so now this is, I think this will work now. So if I give me a section name, yeah, you can give me the name for a section for a sample section.
any sections or
Grocery,
grocery.
yeah, and any description like a fresh fruits and veggies. Save. Okay. So now I have come back to the admin dashboard, and as you can see, this is the first section that is visible. I can edit and delete. Let me edit it, and I go to edit/1. Now, why am I going to 1? Because grocery has an ID of 1.
Admin.
Yes. So now I'll implement the edit page so that you can see how I will utilize this particular number 1 and how I will use that number ID to get all these details into the form fields and then how I'll make it. So I think the backend is already implemented, the route is already implemented, but how I will fetch these details from this form field, and then how I'll populate the form with those details. So now let us write the edit section. I would also want to.
I
Yes,
have
yes.
one doubt. If we delete that particular grocery, will the primary key will also be deleted, or if we add next grocery, will it be incremented as number two, or will it be same as?
No. So yeah, that is a good question. So if you have one grocery, two, okay, one A, two B, three C, and four D. If you delete two B, then you will just have one A, three C, four D, and so on. So that two would be gone forever, and it will not, it will not auto adjust. It will have it like that. One, three, four. It will have it like that, and it will continue four, five, six, seven, right? So that is how it goes on. Did it answer your question? Yeah, did it answer your question? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So yeah, if you have any questions like this, you can feel free to interrupt and ask. So now let us implement the edit section page. You have the same thing, extends base.html for the navbar, and then you are having the block content. I'll also end the block. Yeah, this will prevent any kind of Jinja template errors. So if you find ways to uh, have the structure in place when you write, that'll make it more easy. Okay, so let us have a h1 tag say edit section, and let us have a form. So now we need a form with a method of post. So again, this is like the same form we had before, but this has some things that are different. So yeah, let me not write it. Let me show you how you can use or reuse your code. You must, you need to have a way where you can have this thing done. You need to reuse as much code as possible, so that I mean that is a good practice even in the software culture. So here you are trying to reuse the form that you made before. But what you want to do is, instead of having a placeholder, now the placeholder is not necessary. You already know what the details are, so you need not have a placeholder. Instead, you can come over here, have a value to the form. The value will pre-populate the form with the current fields. So inside the value, you have a dynamic value of section.name. So section.name take, so how am I using section here is one of the questions that you might have. So if you go back here inside of this, so if the request is post, let us ignore this. If the request is get, we are returning render template edit section.html with a section of section. So section equal to section. So we are passing the section details that I'm fetching from the ID that I'm getting. So this is the ID that I'm getting, and this ID I'm fetching the section row, and then I'm passing that row to this HTML file. And inside this file, I'm now using that row dot name, so I'm getting the name value from the database, and I'm trying to pre-populate the form fields with that. So now again, description ke liye I'll again use the same thing. I'll populate it with section.description. All right. So now again, I keep this as required. I need not have this as required. And let me change this to update. And done. My file is done. I mean, we don't have anything else to write. Let me refresh this page. Now you can see you have these things pre-populated, the grocery and fresh fruits and veggies. Let me change this to grocery one and click on update, and you can see the updates visible. Let us go to the database and check what's happening. So now let me add some more sections. Let me add section like grocery 2, a new section. Let me have some random. Yes, let me again add a new section, grocery 3, new section. Let me see. So you can see three sections that are created. If you click on any one of the sections, you will have the data pre-populated. and you can directly update. You can delete a section. Let me delete grocery 3 and show you. So this is what you are asking, right? So if you delete a particular grocery, so this thing is clear, right? If I edit a particular grocery with something like new section 2 and update, so this won't delete everything, but just change the particular value in the form field. So this is clear, right? And now
Yes.
if I delete a particular grocery, let's see what happens. So as I told you, it will be 1 3. It won't auto update this to 2. All right. Uh, is this thing okay? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am,
So
it's clear.
now I'll also show you how you can actually. Sometimes it is not. I mean, appropriate to have this as 1 3, especially when you're trying to demonstrate some things. So there is an option here where you can have some query editor, not the query editor. Sorry. Okay. You have something like other tools, and okay, there is an option to open MySQL editor. So there you can click on truncate this table where you have the complete rows gone, and you'll start from scratch 1 2 3 4 and so on. So you can use that. All right. So there is a editor where you'll be able to do that. This is not the editor that I'm talking about. There is another MySQL editor that will show up, and you can perform those things there. I think it is somewhere in other tools or something. Yes. Yeah, so you can open the documentation and go. Yeah, you can just run the command truncate or table and then table name section. So then it will remove all the rows and then you can start from scratch from ID 1 onwards. So yeah, that is how you do that. I think all the different, I'm currently logged in as the admin, so all the different things you can do here. I think one thing what we want to do is you might find a thing that is not looking correct, because on the home page for an admin, what do you want to show? Because it is an admin user. So how would that user go to admin page? So now in the nav bar, if you just go to this template, page template, in the nav bar for an admin, what I want to have is, so here if the session.user ID is there, we just say hi, and then what we do is, okay, where is that thing? Yeah, we just say hi admin and something like that. But what if I also want, especially for an admin user, after hi admin, I would also want them to be able to see if, below this alert, if I just add something like if, okay, if session dot is admin. So if session dot is admin, or if the user who's using currently is an admin, I would want to show an A tag. The A tag would be named as the admin dashboard or something like dashboard. So this is like an admin user. So you just show the dashboard, and the href would be a dynamic URL for the admin dashboard. So now this admin dashboard will be rendered whenever the user comes over here. So here, let me end if. This is important. So now here, I think yes. If you just go to this page again, where is that? Yeah, here. Just refresh. You also have the dashboard. So now here, admin can go to their particular dashboard. They can go back to the home page by clicking on Fresh Cart, and this is how they use this thing. If you go to the Karthik user, and if you try to log in, you won't be able to see the dashboard option because you're not an admin here. Okay. So you also won't be able to access the admin page because it says admin only. And if you log out, you also won't be able to access the slash route because it says please log in first. Okay. So these are some of the restrictions that are in place. Some important things to remember here is that the get or 404 thing that we're using inside app.py. I think here, yes. So this thing is important because it handles the bad IDs. So if the ID is not present, it also handles that and does not. So it is like get but aborts with a 404 not found error instead of returning none. So instead of returning none, it automatically you, as you mentioned before, try catch block. So this is having an inbuilt try catch block for us, and it is returning error 404 if it is not present instead of returning none values. Also, yeah, also like this same four route shape, like whatever we did, create, read, update, and delete, will repeat for every entity inside of our models file. So for every entity that we have defined here, you can repeat the same thing and have the CRUD operation set up. So I think this is it for the sections CRUD operations. You can let me know if you have any questions here.
Yes, ma'am. If we have to add any products, will it be coming under these sections?
No. If you want to add any products, so if the admin wants to add any products, what we can do is, inside the admin dashboard, we can allow them to, so inside this, so each product is inside a section, right? So in the next session, what we can do is, we can allow them to edit the products within this section. So there, if they click on that button, edit products to inside of this section, we will redirect them to a new template inside of this HTML file, and that template would take in the section ID, and it would create a new product with all these details from the user, from the admin user, and that those products would be under the section ID. And yeah, that is a separate long video. I mean, a long session on the complete CRUD operations on products. I think that is something we'll cover it exactly in the next session. Yeah, so that
Okay.
is again a complete CRUD cycle where you will have the products and everything. I want to cover it in a single session so that we can test it out and we can keep the sections and products again in a separate GitHub commit, right?
Can we also use like 401 error for unauthorized, just like how we did for 404?
Yeah, you can definitely use 401 error for unauthorized. I think inside the login, okay, for unauthorized, instead of, you can also have an error. Currently, I'm just using a wrapper. You can replace this wrapper. This wrapper can be gone, and here you can handle that thing. So if you can have something like if session, if not session dot, uh, so I think not session dot get user ID. So here you can get throw exception user not logged in or something like that. So you can write those errors as well. I did not want to handle all those errors because I think if we just write a single wrapper function and then use that everywhere, I think that handles most of what we want to do. And we need not handle those errors everywhere. Like we can also do that. We can check if the session has user ID and then do that. But I think this is a more elegant way of doing that. So you can use this or you can use that. Yeah. Any other
Okay.
questions?
No, ma'am, I just
Yeah.
completed.
Even you have completed implementation, right? Till here? Yes.
Yes.
Nice. Then I'll create a new. So I'll git add all. I'll git commit dash m section CRUD operations. Then I'll do git push and yes. So if you just go over here, you can see the latest updates. Yeah. So you can go to the commits history and then you can check out the things that we have changed today. And yeah, you can also try to follow the same code structure again. The structure is the same and everything can be dumped inside the templates folder, or ideally you can also have it segregated with a new folder called as admin and then put all admin dashboard edit section add section inside of that. And yeah, you can also do that. You can also have a new folder called as auth and put these two things inside of it. So in that way, you will have just the base template and the home template in the root folder. You'll have these two in the authentication folder and these three in the admin folder. So you can also try to structure it that way. So structuring is on your part. You also have the style CSS. I'm not going into the styles for now because I think you can get those styles from anywhere, and it is completely uh, it won't have it won't actually have the it won't actually cover majority of the code implementation part. So I think if you want, we can also cover the CSS part. We can use all the different the class names that I've used. Otherwise, I'll create a single CSS file and I'll explain it to you. And then that way I'll just paste that file to you in the chat, and you can also use that file in the same location, and you can see the results on all of your pages. So that will be magical. Right. So yes. So
Okay. I will
yeah,
try
tell
to
me.
CSS. No,
Sure.
I will try to do CSS.
Right then. Let me know if you have any questions on mail or something, mail or GChat, and we can discuss it there. All right, let us meet tomorrow again. Thank you.